welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to sit by the fire and have a little chat with you about my paranormal bag. Paranormal investigations don't always work in your favour, and you don't always see like a moving chair, or like you don't always hear something, or someone doesn't always have to touch you on the shoulder. But to me, I feel as though I only want to put something out there for people to see if I think it's entertaining enough for people to watch, because my channel isn't solely about like ghost stuff and things like that. So I don't really want to post a half-hour video of me going on a ghost hunt and not really experiencing anything. Anyway, I have actually asked for some new decks for Christmas, so I don't know if I'm going to get any or not, but this is my tarot deck that I learned tarot with. So this is what basically started me off into the big wide world of tarot. And if you don't know what tarot reading is, it's basically, it's not witchcraft, it's not like me talking to the dead, it's not magic. It's literally just a way for you to assess the situation that you're in from a different perspective. So depending on what lays out on the cards, a tarot reader is able to look at those images and sort of work out what your situation could possibly be right now, and then it could be offering you advice on a different way to look at things, or something else you could try during your situation that you're in. I do like tarot readings online now. Link to my Patreon if you're interested. But before I do all of those readings, I always say to people, like, getting your tarot read is a little bit like going out for coffee with your best friend. Like, I'm here to give you a different perspective, a different opinion, a bit like your friend would do if you were going to them with, you know, like questions or whatever. And this is the very traditional pack. This is like the very well-known, famous Rider-Waite cards. And they look like this, and each picture means something different, each suit mean a different thing. I'm not really going to get into this too much because I've got a lot of stuff to get through, but yeah, that's just something I wanted to mention. If you do want a reading, then I'm totally like up for that. You can either follow me on Patreon or email me at my business email and just say, yo, let's sort something out, and we will do that. I also have an oracle deck. This is something that my boyfriend actually bought me, which was really nice. So now I pull out an oracle card at the end of all my readings. So this one is actually Divine Circus. It's all based on like circus life, obviously. It has some really beautiful artwork, and I love showing this off when I'm giving readings because like you can't not think that's beautiful. Some of the designs are like stunning, and just they all mean different things. And I treat oracle cards as a kind of like message to take away from the reading as a general like recap. Yeah, it's just a really fun way to mix a reading up a bit, and it comes with a lovely book as well that gives all the definitions behind the cards, and I like to read the definitions instead of like interpreting the card myself. If you're wanting to learn tarot, definitely start with the traditional Rider-Waite, and then when you get more confident, you can kind of look at some other decks that there are out there. There's loads. Some of them you'll be really drawn to, and that probably means they're best for you. I also have this little fairy book. I got this when I was in the Arthur Findlay College, which I actually went to for an open day once. They were doing like demonstrations and lectures on spirituality, and it's basically a massive house that is a college for psychics, so they learn how to be psychic and how to be a medium and stuff. It's really cool. You can attend it for open days. It's a beautiful college. It's massive. It's just this really big house with huge grounds, and I bought this. It's just like a little fairy on the front, and I thought, because I got it from the Arthur Findlay College, I thought it would be quite a nice little book to sort of, basically I pull out a tarot card every day. I write down how I feel about it, and it's my way of studying each card. So like when I look back at my day and then see how I can connect that card that I pulled in the morning to how the day went, I can then sort of like learn the card and work out what the card was trying to tell me, and then that helps me understand what the card means for future readings with other people, because it kind of connects me to my own cards, because I do feel like every deck kind of works differently and your own intuition might change the meanings a little bit. So it's a really nice little exercise that a tarot reader once taught me to do, so I started doing that, and that's fun. This is what some may call a spirit board, a Ouija board, a angel board, but all in all, it's just a communication board. I guess that's what I like to call it. It's something that you can use to communicate to the afterlife, your spirit guides, anyone that's, you know, hoping to get through. I personally don't like touching the traditional Ouija boards, because I hate the idea, or I just don't like the fact that they were originally, you know, well, whether they were originally made to just play games on or not, they do sell in like toy shops, and the fact that they are considered a game like on the box, and I just don't like the idea of that. I know like what you write on a board isn't necessarily going to change the kinds of energies that could come through. I do just cringe over the idea of like using something which is deemed as a game when it's far from that. It's very serious and you should take it very seriously. And even using something like this, which looks like a traditional Ouija board, it is something that you don't just do like randomly. You don't just whip it out. You have to sort of know what you're doing. You have to really study it and look into exactly how it works. So this one comes with a planchette and it's got these lovely wings on it. Put it on here and then you ask for someone to come through, and then obviously the hole here will lead it in whatever direction. There's certain things people do that they feel is right, like you go clockwise 3 times, or you do a little prayer, or you might say a certain ritual before you do it. It's all up to you. It's the same as my tarot cards, to be fair. Like, I will have my own little thing that I say and do before performing, and it's the same with that really. Just, if you're going to buy one of these, be protected. Protect yourself, and you can do that with crystals. There's all sorts, like, do your research basically. This isn't a video about that, so I'm just saying, because I will be leaving links down there to the stuff I show you, and I'm just saying, if you're interested, don't be an idiot. And I say that because it's all about intentions. Anything to do with spirituality is always about intentions. So if you've got intentions to have a laugh, or to like mess around with it, or to scare someone, or if you're like desperate and you need to hear something from the afterlife to like change your world around, like, that's not how it's going to work best for you. You need to be very like level-headed, and you need to approach it in a really like calm way, and you need to feel in a good place as well, and you need to have good intentions. It's all about the good. The good. Now this is usually does come with a pencil. Do I actually? Oh yeah, here's a pencil. Someone in my family actually made this for us, which is cool. This is used to basically the same as a Ouija board, but you put your hand here, pretty much like that big planchette that we just saw with the wings on, but a massive version of it. You put the pencil here, and then things can be drawn for you. And the most I've ever gotten with this really is a love heart being drawn over and over again, which was nice. But I've never had like a lot of personal experience of this before. A lot of notes that we've printed out, because sometimes we do like letters instead of Ouija boards, like yes, no. We printed out letters and then you just like dot them around a table. You don't even need to buy a Ouija board. You can just buy like, no, you don't even need to buy anything. You could just print out letters. You can even do it on a bit of A4 paper like that if you really want to. There's also a notebook for when you're doing board sessions, because honestly, time just literally whizzes by. You will be so surprised if you have a session with a board and then like 3 hours go past and you think, how the hell is 3 hours past? And then you forget like all the stuff that's happened 2 hours ago, an hour ago, because it just goes by so quickly and you just get like so engulfed into the session. So it's really important to write things down. And also, when the planchette's like crossing over the board really quickly, the letters will just like come out like L-E-S-I-E-O. It's hard to work out what those words together mean as a sentence, because there's not like a space option on the Ouija board, I don't think. Sometimes it will like move to an empty space of the board to kind of represent a space. So you have to write all these words down and then sort of work out where the spaces lie and what the sentences say. Trust me, like, if you're just seeing P-O-A-R-S-T-I-O-N and all these letters are coming through, you're like, what the hell does this mean? Because sometimes they can be quite fast, sometimes they're quite slow. Depends who you're talking to. I've also actually got some music stuff in here. There's actually a tape here, proper old school style. Like spiritual CDs, because music is supposed to, well, it's energy and it's upbeat and it's supposed to sort of like help connect to certain people. If they like a certain type of music, obviously they're going to resonate towards you playing their favorite type of music, or like music that either sounds nice or was listened to in the time that you're talking to that person. So if you're doing a seance in like an old building, it's going to make sense if you play old music rather than, you know, Nicki Minaj's latest song. People always assume that doing seances need to happen A, in the dark, or B, at night time, C, like in a creepy atmosphere. Not really. You can literally make it a really pretty atmosphere. You can do it outside at 12 midday. Like, it's not a scary thing. You can put candles just to be like more relaxing and for it to smell nice. These are just lemon. You get little tea tea lights. These are lavender ones. I've got so many incense sticks. I get given a lot of incense sticks by friends and family, and also I just like buying them, so I put them in this big popcorn holder. I would use these for, well, sometimes I don't need to be doing anything spiritual. I just light them because they smell nice and they just kind of like clear the air, and it just helps me. Sometimes I need that, like, it's a bit like waking up and wanting a tea or coffee. Feels like that sometimes. There's all sorts in here. There's pagan magic ones, there's aromatic scents, big packs, which are like jasmine, lily, musk, all different types. Sandalwood, like I can't even, there's packs of different individual scents that I've bought at like a spiritual fair when they do like different scents to buy, which is a really neat idea. Basically I just got too many, and I think it kind of just puts you in that like zone, because when you're doing day-to-day stuff you sometimes have your head in a different space, like you're thinking about other things, but like lighting candles or incense sticks might put you into a different sort of headspace. As well as that, also speaking of candles, I got some really big ones too that Adam actually bought me. These are woodwick candles. They're probably my favorite candles to exist because they're actually crackle candles, so they basically crackle as they burn. If you don't want to like play a video or something of fire crackling, you can like burn 2 of these or maybe just 1, and it sounds like you've got like a little mini roaring fire. And you can get some really cool incense holders for either cone incense sticks or the long incense sticks that I have. I don't have any cones, but you can get some wicked like breathing dragon ones where it looks like the smoke's coming out the dragon's nose. I've just got this little one that I actually won in a raffle at my spiritualist church. I saw that there as my prize, and I went up to the front to go and see what I could get, and I was like, ooh, this looks really cool, and it was handmade by someone at the church, so it has a little coin there for luck. It's funny because my camera keeps focusing on those 2 little ghost faces down there. I mean, it's pretty appropriate, but it's also pretty creepy. I have a digital voice recorder. It's quite heavy actually for what it is. And you can just ask questions, press record, hopefully get some answers. You can take it back home with you and see if anything was captured. I believe they work in a way where they will like pick things up from a different sort of frequency, if I got that right. But they come with little headphones, so you can hear whilst you're talking if there's anything that's come through at the time. But then you can also like go home and study it properly and like raise up the volume and proper like listen. But yeah, once again, I'll try and leave a link to everything I'm showing in this video. It comes with a little manual too, which is cool. That's a really good like form of communication as well, because not only will you be able to hear like proper voices, you can listen out for what's called like intelligent responses. So if things actually make logical sense, like sure, it's good to hear a voice, but if they're actually responding to what you've asked in a really intelligent way, then you know that's an intelligent response and that you're actually talking to someone. Sometimes you can sort of test the waters and just ask them a question like, what is my name? I don't know, sometimes it's just nice to know that their answers are actually correct. So you're going to go into that like investigation knowing that the rest of their answers are going to be on point because they've got ones that you already know, right? I don't know if that makes sense. I got a couple of pendants here. Pendants are a really nice way. I think actually this what I showed earlier was for the pendants, I think, because you can use pendants. If you don't know what these are, they're little you can have different types. You can even just use a necklace for this. Fun fact, I once actually got reported at school for bunking off PE and playing on a pendant in my school's bathroom because I was bored and the bathroom was old as hell. Like my mum went to the same high school as me and she was like, this bathroom has not changed since I was here. So I was like, right, and look, ooh, it's wobbling around already, so maybe someone's here. I find it really hard to do letters with this. I like just using this for yes and no's. This means yes, that means no. Yeah, but you can get all kinds of these. You can get some really pretty crystal ones and stones, and have a look if you're interested in something like this because it's less like scary. I think this is quite a friendly starting thing to try if you're interested. Going back to what I was saying about music, actually playing music as well, we've had it where like spirits have actually mentioned the music we're playing. We've also had someone dancing, which I believe to be my granddad, dancing around the Ouija board. He was like sort of doing this to the music as if he was like dancing around, which was really nice, and it's making me quite tearful thinking about it now. If they are like willing to mention what we're playing, then I think that's pretty good proof to know that they can hear. They sort of come closer because of that. And also I've been told like by a lot of people that the sort of energy around the board really helps. So what I was saying about things being creepy and in the dark and at nighttime, like that's probably when you're going gonna get either no results or like responses from people you don't want to talk to, because like, you know, people like relatives, your spirit guides, and people that want to just come through and like say a nice message are more likely going to be drawn towards people like sitting and chatting around a spirit board with good intentions, you know, laughing, singing. We've had people come through when we're singing, which is a bit odd, but like it's just a lighter energy and it's a lighter atmosphere, and when we're laughing and having fun, you're going to be more drawn towards that. Like even as a human, you and me now, you're going to want to talk to people that are like friendly and smiley and chatty, rather than people who are like looking a little bit dodgy and like a bit, you know, negative. Oh, I actually got given these for Christmas actually. So these are called dowsing rods. You can basically use these for like guidance, so literal guidance as in a direction. They can lead you to certain things, and me and my boyfriend actually did an experiment with these once where I was hiding something in the room from Adam, and then he would find it with the rods, and then he hid something in the room from me, and then I would find it with the rods, and it worked both times. So it seems really interesting like how this works. People also use this as like a yes and no, so yes would be open like that, woo, and then no would be when they close together like that. They weren't originally made for that purpose, but it is quite nice to sort of get a different form of communication that tells you direction and stuff, or like where someone could be standing, or if you want to know like a particular place. If you're investigating a building, you might want to know like where a certain event happened, and that's the sort of thing that you would use dowsing rods for. We got some more CDs in here. Spirit flutes. Some of these are just really nice CDs to listen to, like without even like doing anything. You Raise Me Up, 40 uplifting songs once again, and Elvis Presley. Obviously he was the king. My mum really likes George best, so I guess she's put this in here because I believe this is more of like a personal thing my mum's put in here. I didn't actually realise we had any of these, but these are the incense cones I was saying. So you can put these in some really cool incense burners. I might have to start getting some myself. These are clearly my mum's because I didn't know we had these. There's actually some sage in here as well. People believe that burning this can cleanse an area. There's a big, it looks a little bit like weed, doesn't it? A big chunk of it there. I've never personally had to use sage before, but it's always good to have like everything you might possibly need just in case. Not to sound morbid or anything, but imagine like being in a situation where you just feel as though it's better to be safe than sorry and like cleanse an area or whatever, and you don't really have the things at hand to do that. Artificial tea lights in here in case you're in an area where you don't really want to start a fire. If you're anywhere that you might also be for a while, these tea lights are obviously going to last forever if they're electrical, and yeah, if you don't want to burn things. These are items which some people might find a little bit strange. These are what you would call trigger products, trigger items, I guess. If you're on a ghost investigation, it's usually pretty good to have things lined up in a way that they can be actually moved and played with, because once again, if you're like communicating to children, they're probably not going to be very interested in having a conversation with you. They're probably going to be more interested in like moving things and playing around with things. So putting stuff like a train that has wheels on the bottom in a position, and then like putting chalk around the position that they're on, you can then go back and see if it's moved at all. And then if you've got cameras, even better, like the camera can be on the train at all times and you can see if that moves at all. More trains with wheels. Anything with wheels is just really good because it's easy to push. You don't want to like tell them to move a chair or something. Like, we don't really know how much energy is required to do something like that, so things with wheels is good. Little dollies as well. They might not necessarily be able to move this, but it's a good way to sort of entice a child in. That sounds a bit weird. Get them interested in what you're doing. Once again, you've got to think like they're an actual person, because they did used to be one. Like they're a child, so they're going to be interested in the same kinds of stuff they were when they were a kid. And some little balls that have bells in are also good because you can hear them. Cat light up balls are really good. I think that's something that we want to get soon because they light up when they move. So if you can't hear the bell, it's a really good like way to notice straight away if something's moved, because it flashes and it lights up, especially if you're in a dark room or something. We had a really good experience at my last ghost hunting I went to. I didn't capture it on camera, or like annoyingly, but we actually had a cat ball fly off the table and light up. So because it lit up, we were able to look over and see it move. which is really good. So cat balls are really good. You can get them from like supermarkets and stuff. And last but not least, a camera here which can record in the dark. So you can literally just find cameras that do night photography, like nature. I don't know. There's a lot of cameras out there that specialize for people who want to film in the dark for whatever reason. So this is one that I found on Amazon, I think. I know I just said like things don't have to be dark and creepy and stuff. I've had a ghost hunt once where the person was telling us to turn off the electricity. It almost seems as though people back in the day don't really like electricity, like electronic stuff now. They would refuse to talk to us if we had like lights on and stuff, which was really interesting. So this is a camcorder and it basically shoots in the dark, so you've got no excuse if you want to chat to someone. Then again, they might even tell you to turn this off, but it's a really neat way to sort of see what you're doing as well and to capture anything moving. I want to get a REM pod, which is basically a light up disc which only lights up when the little aerial bits at the top have been touched by someone. So that's a good way to communicate as well, because you know if someone's near and someone's touched the disc, and then you can ask questions like 2 for yes, 1 for no. So you can do it just by knocks, like knock twice if you're here, but with a REM pod, like, it's another way to kind of do it. I think with less energy needed. Once again, we don't really know how the afterlife works, but if you can get intelligent responses from the REM pod, like beeping twice, which is quite rare for it to do, like beep beep, you know that it's like not just the electronics inside of it messing up or something. You know that someone's actually there touching it. It's a bit like, you know, those like games you used to do where you had to like put the hoop through the wire without touching the wire, because then it would go beep. It's a bit like that. They sound like that. I've got them in a few of my paranormal videos if you want to check them out. Yeah, I hope this was fun and interesting to watch. If you want to hear me talk about any more of this kind of stuff, then let me know. If you're interested in one of the things to more of a thorough detail, I don't know, I'm open for that. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll try and link everything that I've mentioned in this video down there, and I will see you on the other side. Just kidding. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to be notified every time I make a brand new video. I'm on social media such as Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, so see me on all my behind the scenes type of stuff.